All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Morning Brew podcast. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate everybody that always turns in. If you haven't yet, like I usually say, go over to the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, like, share, comment. That helps me get this shit spread around. That helps more people plan for this and add it to their daily routine in the morning. So let me know what kind of coffee you're drinking in the comments. Let me know what kind of coffee you're drinking. Like I said before, I like this to be an interactive podcast. So talk to me in the comments and I will put them up on here. Any topics you want to talk about, I'll put them up on here and we'll talk about them. You can be featured on the Morning Brew just by commenting. I do want this to be an interactive podcast because I am on here by myself Monday through Wednesday. Thursday, which is tomorrow, I will have Pastor Martin Harris on here, and then Friday I will have Sarita Lawrence on here. Today, I know I said yesterday that I was gonna try going on a 72-hour water fast. That didn't that didn't last long because yesterday was Taco Tuesday, so had tacos and didn't really have the will to say no. So yeah, I'm back on here with coffee today for the Morning Brew, and we'll try again next week. We'll try the 72-hour water fast again next week. But yesterday was Taco Tuesday, and I didn't even think about it ahead of time, so fell a little short of that 72-hour goal of water fasting. So we're back on here with coffee today, and I got a Brazilian dark roast from Speedway. Nothing fancy, but it gets the job done. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go to Starbucks or no Tim Hortons and get nothing crazy. I just got a Brazilian dark roast and added some French vanilla creamer to it. I think it was. So yeah, appreciate everybody tuning into the Morning Brew podcast and everybody that watches after we go live. Appreciate all you guys too. The easiest way to do that would be to subscribe to the YouTube channel. So that way you don't have to get on my Facebook page and scroll all over the place just trying to find the latest episode. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, then it makes it real easy to find the latest episode. And it will also be live streamed to YouTube. I had somebody yesterday ask if it would live stream to YouTube. Yes, it also live streams to YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So let's go ahead and get this shit kicked off. In the comments, like I said, let us know how you're doing this morning. Let us know what you're doing. Are you on your way to work? Are you at work watching it on your break? I know Rocky was watching it at work yesterday. Maybe on his break, I don't know, but kudos to him for doing that. And let us know what kind of coffee you're drinking. I don't even care how fancy it sounds. Just let us know what kind of coffee you're drinking. I'm drinking a dark roast Brazilian from Speedway. Nothing fancy, but it gets the job done. So let's start it off. Your words have power. What you say matters. What you say has meaning. If you sit around and you speak negatively about yourself all the time, then you're going to see negative results from yourself all the time. And vice versa, if you sit around and you speak positive affirmations into the world and to yourself, then you'll see positive results from yourself. So your words have power. So watch what you say. Your words can be toxic and your words can be fuel. And when I say that, I mean your words can either tear you apart or tear somebody else apart, or they can be a fuel to motivate you or somebody else or build you up. So watch what you say, even if it is just joking or you're not really being serious about it. If you say shit enough, eventually it will come to fruition. And that goes for good and bad. So watch what you say. Your words have power and your words matter. So stop just throwing words around like they have no power or meaning or anything like that. And that kind of goes to with the manifesting thing. I know I hear a lot of people say, well, if I just keep telling myself that this is where I'm going to be, then eventually it's going to manifest itself into the world and that's where I'll be. And I do agree with that to a certain extent, but I also think that you can just sit around telling yourself that you're going to be in a good position all day long and not do nothing to get there, and it's still not going to happen. You can tell yourself you're going to get to that position all you want. You can tell yourself you're about to go get this new Ferrari or this new Lamborghini one day, but if you don't do shit to get you there, then it ain't never going to happen. So positive affirmations and manifesting what you want. Aaron Racy says West End Motor Mart morning roast might turn into a Ninja Turtle. Yeah, you just might turn into a Ninja Turtle drinking that West Side coffee, my boy. They probably got some they probably got some crazy chemicals mixed into that motherfucker to keep you coming back. You might just turn into a Ninja Turtle. That's funny as fuck though. Hey, that West End Motor Mart, you might as well just pull up to the gasoline pump and pour that in your cup. Shit. Uh Angela Stanforth at the office, crunching numbers while I listen, drinking an iced macchiato from the Remnant. Oh, okay. Yeah. I went to the Remnant one time, but um I couldn't really see. I'm not a huge coffee person. So like if I go to a coffee shop like that, I don't really know what the fuck to order unless someone like tells or recommends a drink to me. So I went to the Remnant one time and I was kind of confused by the menu. So I was just like, just let me get a dark coffee plain or whatever the fuck it was. Like I didn't even know what to ask for because when I go into like places like that, like Starbucks or anything like that, it's like I hear people say all this crazy shit and I just get overwhelmed. So I just order something super simple. But hey, I do know what a iced macchiato is. So the next time I go to the Remnant, I will try an iced macchiato and let you guys know what I think about it. Thank you for telling me that so I don't have to go in there and look like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing next time. Don't eat the glizzies from there. Ask Curtis about them. Damn, Curtis, you was eating glizzies out the West Side Motor Mart, my boy. You should know better than anybody. They probably got camel legs in that mud. They probably got all kinds of crazy shit in them hot dogs over there on the West Side. They probably got raccoon fingers in them bitches. You might want to chill, my boy. Oh, Creston Ave rat in them hot dogs. You gotta chill out. Hey, that's crazy though. That's crazy, Curtis. That Aaron's gonna get on here and put you on blast about you eating them glizzies from the West Side Motor Mart. Cause I got some questions about your character now. I thought you knew better. I mean, there's a whole fucking subway connected to that Motor Mart. And you decided to get a glizzy from Motor Mart instead. Damn, my boy. I'm not saying that the subway would be any better, but you can actually get some real food on that motherfucker. All right, so yeah, words have power. Watch what you say. It can have an effect on your life and the people's life around you. Angela Stanford said, "Yeah, they're a little bougie." Yeah, and I think it was just more so because it was my first time being in there. Like when I first went to Starbucks, I got a little overwhelmed with the menu, so I just ordered a caramel frappe, I think it was. And then like I started to become more familiar with it, and then I started getting a little full of myself and ordering some crazy shit. But I think it was just more so because it was my first time at the Remnant. But shout out the Remnant though. Really nice coffee spot. I go there. Well, I just went there one time. I went there one time to take my laptop and just edit photos just to get out the house. So nice coffee shop. I like their new location. But now that I have a drink recommendation from there, I can go there and actually order something rather than just a dark plain coffee. So yeah, your words have power. They can affect you and the people around you, so use them wisely. Next thing, everyone is messed up in their own way. Just get better every day. Everybody's fucked up. Everybody has issues, both mentally, physically, whatever you want to call it, socially. Everybody is fucked up in their own way. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is this great, outstanding, got it all figured out person. Everybody is fucked up. The best that we can do is wake up and try to get better every day. Don't beat yourself up over it. Just try to get better every day. Just build up them little wins and try to be the best person that you can be. Because I'm here to tell you right now, no matter how much people seem like they got their shit together and and it seems like they got shit figured out, they're going through their own battles too. Everybody's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you hear about these rich people committing suicide and stuff like that, because money doesn't solve everything. You know what I'm saying? Just because it looks like somebody's in a good situation doesn't mean they are, you know what I mean? They could be in a fucked up place mentally, regardless of their situation, their living conditions, their financial situation. They could still be fucked up mentally. So whenever you're feeling down on yourself, whenever you're feeling like, man, I just ain't that great of a person. Like, and at this point in my life, I thought I would be further along than I am and doing more than I am. Just remember, everybody's fucked up in their own way. Everybody's messed up. Let me stop cursing, man, because I got some people on here watching that are pastors and stuff, and I got pastors on here. I want to try to stop cursing for this, but everybody's messed up in their own way. Just remember that. Next time you beating yourself up, you think you're supposed to be making more progress than what you're making. You think you're supposed to be further along in life than you are at the age that you are. Because I've been there. I'm 31 years old, and I would probably prefer to be further along with what I'm doing than I am right now. But every time you do that, you got to just be grateful for what you got and where you are, and think about how far you've come, and just stop beating yourself up about it. As long as you get them small wins every day and you try to create a better version of yourself every day, eventually you'll be where you want. And I truly believe that. So just remember, everybody's messed up. No matter how much they try to throw shit in your face and act like that they got it all figured out, they don't. There's a whole lot that goes on behind closed doors, and everybody's dealing with their own battles. So, next thing, stop having emotional reactions. Step back and make decisions with a clear head. This is something that I've really had to grow with, and I think a lot of people have to grow with, and I think it comes with age and being understanding to people. Um, a lot of people, and I was one of them, react initially off of emotions. They react out of anger, they react out of jealousy, instead of just taking a step back, taking a deep breath, and really looking at a situation, clearing your head, and then making a decision. Because when you make decisions out of anger, they're not great decisions. When you make decisions out of jealousy, they're not great decisions. So if somebody makes you angry, or somebody does something or betrays you, make sure you take that step back, clear your head, take a deep breath, and then make a decision on how you're going to handle it. Don't make a decision with your emotions, because it's rarely ever the right decision, and it's rarely ever a decision that's going to put you in a good situation afterwards. I mean, that's how people end up in jail, and they ain't never had no record in their life, because they make a decision with their emotions instead of making a logical decision. When they've calmed down, they make a decision with their emotions, and they do something that they would never do, but they was emotionally driven, and that's how they end up in jail with no record. That they've never had no record before, but they end up in jail because they did something dumb. So when something happens, I challenge you to take a step back from it, take a deep breath, let yourself calm down first, and really look at the situation, and then make a decision on how you're going to react to it. Stop reacting out of emotions, because that's reacting with your emotions is how you end up saying things that you're going to regret. Reacting out of emotions is how you end up saying things to people, and then something happens to them and you regret saying it because you didn't really think it all the way through. You just reacted with your emotions. You got angry and you said something out of anger. Don't do that. Take a step back, really clear your head, take a deep breath, and then decide how you want to handle the situation. Stop having emotional reactions and trust your instincts. God gave you a gift, which is intuition, and everybody has it. I know that everybody on here listening to this, including myself, has had that gut feeling when something happens in their life. Whether it's whether it's your significant other cheating on you, whether it is a job posting that you see that you're not sure that you would be qualified or able to do, but something in you is just telling you to apply for it anyway. Whatever it is, trust your instincts. You have tuition for a reason. And what I have found from my experience is 9 times out of 10, when I have a gut feeling about something, or you just have that voice in your head telling you that something's happening or that you should do something, 9 times out of 10, it's right. So God gave you intuition and natural instincts. So make sure you use it, because a lot of times it's right. And a lot of times it can help you either get into a great situation or get out of a bad one. So trust your instincts, trust your intuition. Don't make dumb decisions, obviously. Don't go out and spend all your money on lottery tickets because you got a gut feeling that the numbers are going to be a certain way. But I mean, like throughout your life dealing with people, because people, like we talked about before, people do give off energy. So a lot of times you are able to know what is going on around you without actually having to know, just based on the feelings that you get from people, because people give off energy. So you can use your instincts and your intuition to figure out what they're doing. And I mean, people do have hidden agendas sometimes, and that's what we're going to talk about next. Some people will only show you support if they see a potential opportunity for themselves in what you're doing. And this is where you should use your instincts and your intuition a lot, is to decipher people's motives around you. Do they just want to be around you because they see a potential opportunity for themselves? Do they only want to support you or help you because they think that you might be heading down a path that could present an opportunity for them and put them in a good situation? Because there are a lot of people out here that are selfish. There are a lot of people out here who are only driven by their own self-interest. They're bandwagoners. That's what they are. And they'll only show up when you're doing something good and they see a potential opportunity for themselves to get some of what you got, to get a slice of that pie. And it's just like this podcast stuff. I've had people reach out to me and say that they would like to be on the podcast, and then I get to talking to them and they say that they never listened to an episode. And it's like, why would you reach out to be on a podcast but you've never even watched it? It's like I could be on here talking about kangaroos all day and you're trying to get on here. And that's what I'm talking about though. Like those people have never watched the podcast. They've never supported the podcast, never shared it, never liked it, never commented, never had anything to do with the podcast. But here they go, popping out of nowhere because they see a potential opportunity for them to get on it and for them to be heard. And that's what I'm talking about. You got to use your instincts and your intuition to figure out what people's motives are around you. Because sometimes you'll only see these people when you're in a good situation or you got something going on or you can present them with an opportunity. Because I mean, how many people come out of the woodwork when you're not doing good? Not a whole lot. And if they do, those are probably the people you should keep in your life. It's usually when you're doing good and you're making progress and people are really, and it's popular to support you. That's when people come out of the woodwork and they want to support you all of a sudden. People won't support you until it's the popular thing to do. They don't really want to support you until everybody else is doing it. And then they feel like they're the one left out. You know what I'm saying? So like I said with this podcast, there are a lot of people that reached out to get on the podcast. And then I find out that they've never even watched the podcast. So it's like, if you've never watched the podcast, then you don't want to get on the podcast because you like what I do on here. You like some of the things that we talk about on here. You solely want to get on this podcast just because you think there's a potential opportunity for you to say and be heard, whatever that is. So I mean, that's the selfish people that you have to look out for. Those are the people that are going to leech off of you and drain you because they're just looking out for themselves. They're not trying to look out for the whole thing that you're doing. They're not trying to help you. They didn't want nothing to do with it until they thought there was potential that they could get a slice of that pie. So you got to watch out for the people around you. And I mean, to even make it even funnier, it's like them people like when the income tax come and then you see these people come out of nowhere. It's like you got to watch the people around you that are only around you because they think that you can present them with an opportunity to better themselves. Set yourself apart from the crowd with consistency, and this kind of goes towards if you want to start your own business or even podcast. Now that I think about it, because anybody can go out and get what they need to start a podcast. Anybody can go out and get cameras, microphones. Anybody can go out and get a Cricut in a shirt press and start making t-shirts and selling them. What's going to separate you from the regular, everyday, average Joe is being consistent and sticking with it. Because, like I said, anybody can go buy that shit, but very few people stick with it. I know so many people that started podcasts. I know so many people who started their own business, but they don't stick with it. And that's the thing you got to remember. The shit takes time. If you want to have any kind of success, it's going to take time. But all these people, they have this dream, they have this image in their head of blowing up off the shit. So when they start that business and they don't get everything that they dreamed about the first month, they lose encouragement and they stop doing it. So the one thing that's going to set you apart from the crowd is being consistent. And it's going to take, if you, the shit that you're dreaming in your head, it's going to take years to happen. With this morning brew shit, I don't care if I'm on here talking to myself. I don't care if I'm on here talking to myself at 10 a.m. every day. Eventually somebody's going to tune in. You know what I mean? And it's going to take time. I don't expect this shit to blow up in months or even years. It might take a decade. But setting yourself apart from the crowd with being consistent. Consistency is everything. You can do whatever you want, but if you ain't consistent at it, then you're not going to see the results you want. And especially with like a podcast. I mean, even the shirt business that I was using an example of. If you want customers, if you want loyal customers, then you have to be consistent because they have to be able to rely on you to produce what they want. If you start a podcast, they have to be able to rely on you to be on there daily and make it a part of their daily routine. Like with this, I put out a schedule showing people Monday through Friday, I'm going to be on here at 10 a.m. That is so people can pre-plan and rely on me to be on here and make it a part of their daily routine. Because if it's just random and sometimes I'm on here and sometimes I'm not on here, then people can't rely on me to be on here talking at 10 a.m. every morning. It's hard for them to make it a part of their daily routine. And the same thing with shirts. Okay, I'm going to you and I really like your clothing brand and I've bought shirts from you every time you put them out, but then you'll go a few months without putting anything out. And it's like, I want to consistently wear this brand, but you're not consistently producing it. So consistency is key. If you want to build that base, if you want to build that foundation, you got to be consistent and just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. It's going to take time. None of that shit that you want to do is going to get to that level that you want it to get to in a short period of time. It's going to take time unless you go viral or something. But how many times have you seen that? I mean, it's few and far between. It's more common nowadays, but I don't know anybody around me that's just accidentally went viral. So don't let others dilute who you are. And I hear this a lot, especially from people in relationships. They say that they feel like they're being held back. They feel like that they have to dim their light to let the other person that they're with shine brighter so that they don't make that person feel inferior. And you should never change who you are or dull down your unique qualities so that somebody else doesn't feel inferior. If you are with somebody or around people that feel inferior because of how great of a person that you are, then that should only motivate them to become a greater person. And if that does not make them want to become a greater person, then you shouldn't be around them. Because I'm telling you right now, that's a selfish person who doesn't care about you. Because if they did care about you, they would want you to be the best version of yourself. They wouldn't want you to dull that down so that they don't feel inferior. They should let you be who you are and they should let you maximize your potential. There is no reason why you should have to dim your light so that they can shine brighter so that they don't feel inferior. And you have to talk to them and communicate with them about that too. Also, I mean, communication is everything. You have to tell them, hey, look, this is who I am and this is who I want to be. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to change who I am just to make you feel better about yourself. Become better with me. Let's do this together. You know what I'm saying? Become a better person with me. If what I present and and the traits that I exhibit make you feel inferior, then get better with me so that we can both take our game to another level, you know? So watch who you surround yourself with. So he said, big yes. I know it's a lot of people. And it's not just really relationships, you know, it's friendships too. I mean, there are situations where people have friends around them and they're kind of afraid to talk about the successes that they've had or the good things that they've done recently because they don't want their friends to take it the wrong way or they don't want their friends to feel bad about themselves or feel inferior to them. But you can't do that. You have, like we talked about before, you have to celebrate the small wins and you have to surround yourself with people who are going to help you celebrate them and make you feel proud about what you're doing because I mean nothing is guaranteed. You can't take anything for granted. I mean, so even if it is a small win that might seem insignificant to others, celebrate it, man. Take advantage of it because it doesn't happen all the time. A lot of people don't get them. So make sure you surround yourself with like-minded people who actually want good things from you and want to see the best version of you. Because if they expect you to be something that you ain't, or change who you are, or dull yourself down so that they don't feel inferior, then they have things that they need to work on. That is insecurity. That is somebody who can't deal with their partner or their friend being better than them because they're fighting an internal battle themselves. You know what I mean? They don't feel great about themselves. So when they see other people feeling great about themselves, that just makes them feel worse about themselves. When in all actuality, it should just motivate them to be better. So be careful who you surround yourself with. And be careful what energy you bask in because people will destroy you to bring themselves up. Um, have humility and stay humble. It could all be taken away. Huge thing. And something that a lot of people struggle with as soon as they get shown a certain amount of attention, they start to become cocky or they let that ego take over. And one thing that I try to do is no matter what happens in my life, no matter what goal I reach or no matter how much success I have, I always try to remember that God can take this shit away at any time. You know what I'm saying? And I know what it was like to be at that point with nothing. I know what it was like to start from the bottom and have to work my way back up. So I'm not going to test God's ability to take this shit away at any given time. So make sure you stay humble. And karma is real. I really do truly believe in karma. I believe what you put out into the world comes back to you tenfold. So if you're putting good out into the world, it's going to come back to you. But if you're putting bad out into the world, that shit's also going to come back to you. So make sure you have humility and make sure you stay humble. You're not better than anybody else. You know what I mean? And like I said the other day, treat the janitor like you would the CEO. In the blink of an eye, God could put the CEO down in the janitor's position and he could take the janitor and put him up in the CEO's position in the blink of an eye. So don't test God's will, you know? Like Bethany said, yes, yes, yes. I'm so big on this. And that's what it is, man. You gotta put good out into the world if you want good back. But if you're out here treating people crazy and you're out here talking down on people and just tearing them down all the time and just every chance you get, just being ugly to people, that's also going to come back to you. So you got to keep that in mind. Having humility and staying humble. I don't care where you're at. I don't care how untouchable you feel or or because a lot of people will get in them situations of success and they'll forget where they came from and they'll forget that they was going through that same struggle as the people that they're now talking down on. So make sure you have humility and stay humble, man. You ain't better than nobody else. I'm not better than nobody else, and I know that. I know there's a lot of people that got a lot more shit figured out than I do. There's a lot of times where I'm fucked up for real. You know what I'm saying? And everybody just assumes like, oh, he has his own business. He don't have to work for nobody else. You know what I'm saying? He created something of his own and all this and that. I'm still fucked up mentally some days. You know what I'm saying? I'm still fucked up mentally some days, and some days I'm just exhausted, and I don't feel like a great person. Some days, a lot of days I wake up and I feel like a shitty person, like I could be doing more, and like I should be doing more for people around me, and like I'm not carrying the weight that I should be carrying every day. I feel like I'm not meeting expectations of people sometimes. And that makes me feel like a shitty person. So you just got to remember, man, have humility and stay humble because it could all be taken away in the blink of an eye. Don't test God's will. He can do it. And without the rain, you never appreciate the sunny days. We talked about this yesterday. You need adversity. You need to fail. You need to try shit and not be successful at it. You need that. And just like with this, if it was sunny every day, then you wouldn't even think twice about it. You would just take it for granted. You wouldn't even appreciate the sunny days. You need them rainy days, and this is a metaphor for adversity. You need them rainy days to help you appreciate the sunny days. And I mean, for example, like here in Ohio, where we fucking get winter for 9 months out of a year, these snowy days, when it's negative 20 degrees and it's snowing and icy and shit like that, that shit makes you appreciate when spring comes around even more. That first day you go outside and it's 70 degrees and that sun hits you, that shit feels way better than it ever did any other time just because you've been dealing with all these dreary, gray, cold ass days. You need the rain to help you appreciate the sunny ones. Curtis said, "What's a morning brew without a West Side Motor Mark Glizzy at 10 a.m., bro? You ain't making yourself look no better, Curtis. The fact that you ate a Motor Mark Glizzy at 10 a.m. is wild. Because when Aaron told me that you ate a Glizzy from Motor Mart on the West Side, I was like, all right, already sketchy. But the fact that you didn't even wait until lunchtime and you deep throated that motherfucker for breakfast is crazy. You are something. Anyway, got me off topic with that one. But yeah, you need the rainy days to appreciate the bad days. You need bad days so that you can appreciate the good ones. And it all goes back to the fucking saying, like, if you hadn't ate in 2 weeks and then somebody gave you a cracker, that would be the best tasting cracker of your life just because you haven't eaten so long. So sometimes you need adversity so that you can appreciate the little things in life. Because I mean, how many of you guys have worked a 5-day work week? You're working overtime all week and shit. You know what I'm saying? And any other time, you're sitting at home watching Netflix and you don't think twice about it. You don't think nothing of it. It's just a regular thing that people do. And then you go a whole 5-day work week, you're working overtime, you've barely been home, stressed out, tired. And then you're at work and you're just thinking about going home and watching Netflix. And you're like, man, something so simple like that is such a fucking blessing. Like, I love just being at home, sitting and watching Netflix, like something so simple that you usually take for granted. You really, truly start to appreciate when you're rarely ever able to do it. So sometimes you need to be in the positions where things are going bad or it's not going exactly how you want it to go so that when it does go good, you can have that much more appreciation for it. Uh Curtis said I was down bad that day. Bethany said not deep though. Yay. If you eating a glizzy at 10 a.m., I ain't putting nothing past you. If you're eating a West Side Motor Mart glizzy at 10 a.m., you're capable of anything. So I don't even know. Right. I didn't eat for like 12 hours prior to that glizz. What was going on, my guy? I mean, you put the glizzy in you and on an empty stomach. Man. Bobby said hard times create tough people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hard times, and there was a saying about that. It said hard times create tough people. Um, Tough people create easy times, and then easy times create weak people. And that, I mean, that goes back to what we were saying yesterday. Like, I don't want my kids to have an easy ride to where they're going. Like, if I get rich, I don't want them to feel that I'm rich. You know what I'm saying? I want them to make their own way, because if I'm out here putting in all the work and I give them an easy route, then they're going to become weak, and then they're going to leave their kids a terrible fucking route to go down. Their kids will probably end up poor if I don't give them no reason to have ambition or drive, honestly. And then you're just going to have it cycling back. Um, right. That glizzy definitely made me more of a man. Yeah. Like Aaron Racy said, you might turn into a fucking Ninja Turtle, bro. because over there on the west side Motor Mart, them glizzies might be made with camel ankles and raccoon fingers over there, my boy. They might be pulling them bitches straight out of Martin Luther King Park and putting them on the grill. That might be what's going down over there. So you might want to, I mean, you might want to find a speedway if you're gonna try a glizzy. I wouldn't test that West Side Motor Mart over there. That might be where COVID started for real. They might have had bat legs on the damn grill over there for real. Don't lose faith in the idea of love. This is a huge. Before I jump into it, man, I'm over here at the same time trying to be deep, and at the same time talking about how Curtis was eating a Motor Mart glizzy at 10 a.m. So bear with it, y'all. Bear with it. He said them motherfuckers been on the grill for like 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, yeah. They just cycle them bitches. They just cycle through them. They don't even, if they don't sell them, they just put them back in the cooler and put them back out the next day. They just cycling through them. Like I told Aaron, if you're gonna get coffee over there, you might as well just pull up to the gas pump and put that shit in your cup. It's probably better for you for real. That's crazy though. Been on the grill for 2 to 3 weeks. Anyway, um, Bethany, I appreciate you tuning in. I'm glad that you can get a good laugh this morning, man. It was not planned for Curtis to get on here and talk about his glizzy experience this morning, but anytime that we can get some comic relief on here, I'm down. Motor Mart on the west side has no chill. Oh, I know they don't. I know they don't. Don't lose faith in the idea of love. Don't lose faith in the idea of love, y'all. There's going to be people that come in your life that do you wrong, betray you, cheat on you. Don't let the fact that they're a terrible person and the fact that they're capable of doing shit like that cause you to become that same way. Um, because if you let someone's wrongdoings turn you into the same kind of person than them, not only are you no better than them, but it creates this cycle that never stops. Because you'll have good, loyal, faithful people out here putting their all into a relationship, doing everything they can to make love work. And then they get betrayed. And then once they get betrayed, they turn into that same person that betrayed them. So then they go to someone who used to be like them and is trying to put their all into love and be loyal and faithful and do everything they need to do. And then they're doing the same shit to that person that was done to them. So then you create this cycle. The only way to break that cycle is to not lose faith in the idea of love. Believe that love is real and believe that it can work. Believe that there are good people out there in the world. Don't let a bad person ruin you. Just because somebody else is able to do all that shit, don't let that make you become one of them people that are able to do all that shit. You know what I mean? Don't let them ruin you. Oh shit, motherfuckers. Uh what are we? Bethany said, I love watching when I can. Yeah, always appreciate you watching, Bethany. Wow. They got a water line straight from the quarry. Man, they got a water line straight from the quarry. Is crazy. They probably washing them glizzies off before they put them on the grill with that quarry water. She said, this topic is meant for me right here. The universe knew I needed to turn in. Which topic you talking about, Bethany? The idea of love? Um, I can't take these motherfuckers nowhere. Don't lose faith on Mortimer on the west side. Man, you can't take motherfuckers nowhere, bro. This is what I'm talking about. Bobby, a million percent agrees with Bethany. Yeah. There was a lot of zeros. I was trying to figure out exactly what the number was. I didn't want to look like an idiot. Angela Stanford, she's watching on YouTube today. I think that's the first person I've seen tune in live on YouTube. So appreciate you, Angela. Curtis said, shit, Motormart tried to ruin me. Curtis, you're ruined. There ain't no tried. You're ruined. Everybody watching this shit and everybody that ends up watching this shit is going to have a totally different outlook on you. Okay, yeah. So Bethany said, yeah, don't lose faith in the idea of love. Yeah, idea is still, or idea. Love is still very real. and there's still good people out there. I know it's hard in today's society, especially with social media, and it's so easy for motherfuckers to get on social media and like a picture and get in touch with somebody and be unfaithful and cheat. So it's just way easier than it was back in the day. Back in the day, you didn't have none of these resources for people to be able to have all these options. So you really didn't hear about it back in the day. I'm sure it happened, because I mean, people still had to go to work and see their coworkers, and that's probably how it happened. It probably just didn't happen to the extent that it happens now because people have so much access to other people all the time. So I mean, and girls have seen it and guys have seen it. You're with your significant other and you're scrolling down the timeline and you see that they've liked somebody else's picture. And that can be a precursor for what is to come sometimes. So I mean, just don't let bad people ruin your faith and love, because it does exist and it does still happen. It might be not as common nowadays just because of the way everything is set up now. It might be a lot harder, but if you come out on the winning side of love and you actually find love and you make it work, then that means so much more now than I think it did back in the day, because you're presenting with so many more obstacles now. So if you're able to make it work now, then you should be taking way more pride in it now than people did back in the day, because you got everybody throwing everything at you, trying to keep you from finding love. So don't lose faith in the idea of love, man. There's bad people out here and you're going to get done wrong. People are going to be unfaithful and people are going to betray you, and not everybody's loyal, but that doesn't mean you have to be the same way, because somebody is going to come across you and they're going to appreciate the traits that you exhibit. They're going to appreciate the fact that you still believe in love and you are sold on the idea of love. So, Bethany said, I used to be so in love with the thought of being in love, but yeah, it's hard. And there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, a lot of little girls, when they watch movies growing up, a lot of the movies that they watch are romantic movies. So they fall in love with that idea of being in love just because of who they was growing up and what they seen around them. So it's only natural that you would want to grow up and be deeply in love, because I mean, 9 times out of 10, that's what little girls watch when they're growing up. They grow up, they see these princesses, whether it's a cartoon or a movie, they see these princesses finding their prince and falling in love, and it's happily ever after. So it only makes sense that that's what you would want. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, in today's society, it's a lot harder. But that only means that when you finally do find it, that it means that much more. So yeah, don't it's hard, but it's worth it. Anything that's worth it is going to be hard. Just remember that. I mean, if the shit's easy, then I mean, who wants easy? And now I'm in this energy to where I can't even let myself get attached to someone because of the thought of that person leaving. I'm a mess. Shake my head. But you got to do it anyway, Bethany. The way that I look at it is that if you sacrifice everything you have and you give everything you have, at least at the end of the night, if the shit doesn't work out, at least you can lay your head down on your pillow, feeling good about yourself, knowing that you did everything that you could do to make it work. Because in the future, when that person who leaves realizes what they had in you, they're the ones that aren't going to be able to sleep. They're the ones that are going to have a hard time getting to sleep. And you're over here sleeping like a baby because you know you did everything you could to make it work. You didn't throw away a good opportunity. They did. And then you eventually found somebody who appreciated everything you had to offer. So don't be afraid to get attached. I mean, I give like that shit is so cool to me when people get done wrong and cheated on and betrayed and all this and that, and they're still able to go out with no walls, find someone that they really like, and just completely commit to being with that person. That shit is cool to me. And that shit says a lot about a person. So I don't know, you know. Bobby said, I almost lost all faith and love until I fell back in love with myself. And that's where it has to start. And that's what we talked about yesterday, is that you have to know yourself. You have to fall in love with yourself first. You need to take care of yourself and you need to make sure that you're in a good space mentally. Go out and spend some time with yourself alone. Figure out what you like to do, things that make you happy, and fall in love with yourself because you're never really going to be able to love somebody else until you love yourself. And if you don't love yourself, then you ain't going to be able to give anybody 100% of yourself. And I said it yesterday. If you're in an airplane and the airplane starts going down, you to put your oxygen mask on first because you can't save the person next to you unless you save yourself first. If you pass out, then I can't help. If I pass out on the airplane, I can't help you. You know what I mean? But if I put my oxygen mask on, save myself, take care of myself, then I can reach over and put your oxygen mask on for you if you passed out. So you got to take care of yourself first and you got to love yourself so that you can give that to somebody else. Zoe said, take every person you come across, friend, love interest, etc., as part of your human experience. Love on, girl. Don't let fear hold you back. Yeah, I think Zoe is talking to Bethany and Bobby. You know, like she said, love on. Um, love conquers all. And yeah, I mean, everybody you come across, even if it does turn out to be a bad experience, it might have been a necessary experience. It might have been something that you needed to go through to teach you something or to show you how not to do things in the future. And it's all part of building and becoming a better person. You know what I mean? It's just don't let bad people turn you into a bad person. Just always try to be a good person regardless of how people do you, you know? So Bethany, hopefully I can get it together soon. I have no doubt you will, Bethany. I have no doubt you will. Like I said, if you just have faith in it and you just keep on putting in your all, somebody's going to somebody's going to appreciate it and they're going to reciprocate your energy. You know what I mean? Because there's a guy out there right now thinking the same way you're thinking. He's thinking the exact same way you're thinking. Like, man, it's hard for me to get attached to someone. I'm afraid they're going to end up leaving or they're going to end up being unfaithful or disloyal to me. So I kind of keep these walls up and I just hope one day I come across somebody who is the same as me and feels the same way as me. There's a guy, I guarantee you, there's a guy out there right now saying the same shit you're saying, thinking the same way you're thinking. And if it's meant to be, eventually you guys will cross paths. And then it's probably going to change your whole idea of love, honestly. Because you're going to look back at your past relationships and you're going to be like, that was what I thought was love wasn't even love because this man right here is giving me something that I have never experienced and it's unconditional and he's accepting me for who I am and he doesn't make me feel like I need to dilute myself for him. So I have no doubt you'll get it together, Bethany. I have no doubt. Unlike Curtis, you'll get it together. Yes, together for 20 years. It takes work and dedications, but we made it. Angela, you've been married for 20 years. That's amazing. I'm always I'm always amazed when I go do these wedding videos. I'm always amazed when I go do these wedding videos. They do the anniversary dance, and the anniversary dance is just that they have everybody who's married come out on the floor, and then they'll be like, "Okay, everybody who's been married for less than 5 years, come off the floor," and they'll keep going until there's one couple left on the floor. And I think the longest marriage that I've seen so far, I think the couple was married for 72 years, which is insane. That is wild to be. And I'm not saying like wild, like, oh my God, that seems so that seems like bad. Like that's amazing. And like in your case, like 20 years is a long time for the way society is nowadays. 20 years happily married for the way society is nowadays, that is a blessing. And that is just, you don't see it a lot. So congratulations to you. Um, and take pride in it. Like I said, the fact that you've been able to do that in today's day and age and the way society is, you should take a lot more pride in that because there are so many more obstacles that we have to get over as people to have a successful relationship. Bethany, yeah, she's probably laughing at Curtis with the glizzy. Bethany, that's such a beautiful thing. Yeah, Angela, 20 years, man. Good for you. Congratulations. Like I said, I'm always interested in the anniversary dance, seeing how long these couples have been together. And like I said, I think the longest one was 72 years. They had been married. And it's just like in today's society, it's hard to wrap your around it's hard to wrap your mind around the idea of somebody being married for 72 years. Like a lot of people are lucky to just be alive for 72 years. And these people were married for 72 years. So you willingly decided to be with this person and stick with this person for 72 years of your life, which is a lot of people's whole lives. So, yeah, it's just a beautiful thing. And don't lose faith in the idea of love. That was a good one, guys. I like that one. I like that one because I think there's a lot of people out here losing faith in it. You know, they're like, man, I'm done dating. I'm done trying. Everybody out here is every all guy. I've heard girls say all guys are dogs. You know what I mean? You just got to go to the right places to meet the right people, man. Um, and I will say, like men, you might not find that kind of man until you get into your older years, like where I'm at now, like 31, because I know, like in them early mid 20s, like men are just they got hard heads. They're hard to get through to. They really are. Um, they haven't really experienced a whole lot of life or loss. So they haven't really been put in that situation where they have to appreciate something. And if they don't appreciate a shit, then they could lose it. They haven't really been put in that situation yet in their life. They haven't really been through no adversity or trauma yet to really tell them like when they find a good girl, like take advantage of it. They haven't really been put in that situation yet. So um married for 15. Hey, but you guys have been together for 20, married for 15 is still amazing. The fact that and I really agree with what you guys did for real because that means that you guys were together for 5 years and then you decided to get married. So that means that you guys really like figured out like is this what we want? And you guys got to know each other. You guys gave your chance. You guys gave yourselves a chance to really get to know each other before you made that commitment because there are a lot of times when people people date and they've known each other for a couple months and then they rush into getting married and then they figure out all this stuff that they don't like about each other and then they get divorced and it's just like not only is that a waste of money but that is just a waste of a lot of people's time because you'll have a lot of people flying in from different states for the wedding and shit and it's like you guys decided to get married after 5 months and now you're divorced already and I'm not just talking shit like it's happened for weddings that I've done like I've done weddings went and filmed the wedding, and then 5 months later, they're already getting a divorce. So it's like it does happen. So the fact that you got to know each other and really figured out if this is what you wanted in life, and then took that step and got married and have been married for 15 years. Obviously, that 5 years helped, and that 5 years proves as true because after you got married, you've been married for 15 years, and you guys have been with each other. So and I'm sure it's not been easy. It's never easy. It's not supposed to be easy. Anything that you want in life, you got to work for. So, um, Bobby said, people, places, and things are big factors in life. Huge factors, and it all goes into determining what kind of person you end up being. Um, every experience you have with everybody in your life is going to determine what kind of person you end up being. So, whether good or bad. Zoe Richardson, 55 though. 55. Nah, I don't think you gotta wait until you're 55. I don't think you gotta wait until you're 55 to find a man that is going to appreciate you and reciprocate all the energy that you want. But I will say early 20s, mid 20s, men are pretty hard headed and they're difficult to get through to. So yeah, I know you mean 55-year-old man. Um, is that your personal experience? Or are you saying that women should wait until they're 55 to find a 55-year-old? Or are you saying women should find a 55-year-old man to get what they want out of a guy? That's what I'm wondering what you're talking about here. Um, Angela said, luckily we are able to have uncomfortable conversations and grow. And we talked about it yesterday. I don't know if you watched, but making yourself uncomfortable is the only way to grow. I mean, I gave the example. If you're going to the gym every day and you're bench pressing 175 pounds, you're not going to grow. You don't grow until you take that next step and start bench pressing 200 pounds because you didn't want to bench press the 200 pounds because you were afraid to drop it on your chest. But eventually, you got to do it if you want to grow. You can't be afraid. You know what I mean? And you got to have them uncomfortable conversations because, and I'm sure being married for 15 years, I'm sure you guys can talk about anything at this point. And I'm sure that he can understand where you're coming from, and you can understand where you're coming from, and you guys can compromise and meet on a middle ground and figure out a solution if somebody is unhappy. And that's what needs to happen. And that's what has to happen. So Bobby says we choose our own paths. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, yeah. I mean, I mean, we have free will. You can choose what you want. You can do what you decide to do. I mean, sometimes you do kind of get a curveball and outside forces kind of press you down a different path. But for the most part, yes, you choose your own path. You decide what you want to do and what kind of energy you want to have about you, like we talked about earlier. You got to decide what kind of energy you want to have around you, and what kind of energy you're putting off. So yeah, and then stop taking everything so personal. This is a huge thing that irritates the fuck out of me. I know I said I want to stop cussing, but when I get enthusiastic about something, it's hard for me to not cuss. Stop taking everything so personal. Not everything that people do, they're not thinking about you when they do it. Like there are just so many people like you'll do something and they'll take that shit so personal, like you only did it to spite them. And a lot of times when people do stuff, they ain't even thinking about you when they make a decision. I mean, there have been times when I've posted something on Facebook that irritated me, and I just put it in like a general format, like just talking about people in general, something that I didn't like. And then I have people text me like, "Oh, you could have just told me if you had a problem with it. You ain't had to go on Facebook and talk about it." I was like, bro, I wasn't even thinking about you when I posted it. It was just a general thing that I see of people because you gotta think every day I go outside, I'm a people watcher. Like I watch people. So it ain't hard for me to go outside and see people doing a bunch of shit that I don't agree with because I watch people. You know what I mean? It's just who I am. That's what I do. You know what I mean? I'm always on a swivel. I watch people. So it's not hard for me to go outside and see a bunch of shit that people are doing that I don't like. You know, my dog in here trying to get a feature on the pod. He over here talking, but it ain't hard for me to go outside and get a and see something that I see people doing that I don't like. So a lot of times when I post something that I'm not pleased with, it's just in a general format. It's not talking about somebody specifically. So stop taking everything so personal, and especially in a business aspect. Like I had a situation where somebody that I knew wanted me to do their wedding. And I explained to them, okay, the way that we go about this is you pay a security deposit that secures the day of your wedding. And then you don't have to pay the other half until the day of the wedding. The security deposit is specifically to secure that day. And they procrastinated and procrastinated and procrastinated, and somebody else booked the day because they didn't pay their security deposit. And then they got mad at me. Until this day, they will not talk to me because I booked somebody else on the day they wanted. Even though I explained to them they have to pay the security deposit to secure that day and make sure nobody else gets it. Because I can't just save this day for you just because I know you. I got bills to pay too. Like I can't just wait around on you because what if I tell this person that that day is taken and then you don't end up getting married and then I'm just not making no money on that day. So a lot of people take shit personal and it rarely is ever personal. Like people are rarely thinking about you or have any spiteful intentions towards you when they make decisions. You just got to understand, sit back and understand the situation. And understanding goes a long way. And I want to wrap this up with the beauty of life, the pain never lasts. And that is, if you guys don't know, that is a J. Cole lyric. The beauty of life, the pain never lasts. And it is a beautiful thing. No matter what you're going through in life, no matter how hard it seems right now, no matter how much of a hole you're in, and you're just sitting there thinking, like, man, there ain't no way I can get up out of this. I really don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Just give it time, man. Just give it time. The pain never lasts. Even when you die, the pain's over. So, I mean, just think about anything in your life. Just think about any hard time or any obstacle that you've had to deal with in your life. The pain's always temporary. The suffering is always temporary. Eventually, it will subside. Eventually, it will subside. Angela said the willingness to listen and try to understand without taking it personal. Yeah. Yeah, man. And that goes back to with what Angela said about having to have them uncomfortable conversations. Like, you have to be willing to listen to what they're saying, try to understand what they're saying. And if it's a problem with you that they're trying to talk to you about, you can't take it personal, because as soon as you take it personal, they'll never tell you again. And you don't want to get in that situation where they're afraid to tell you. You want them to be able to tell you, because that's the only way you're going to progress in your relationship. And that's the only way that you're going to be able to make it better. Tell your dog I say a hi. Hello, Cubby. They say a hi. They say a hi on the podcast. Come here. Come here. Come here. Get up here. Get up here. Come on. Come on. Get up here. Here he is. Say hi. Right there. Right there. They say hi on the podcast. All right, y'all. I appreciate you guys tapping in to the oh, hold on. I want to make sure that I acknowledge everybody's comments, because I appreciate you guys tuning in for real. Man, yes, that's why I don't even dwell on any hard times, because I know I will get through it and get over it. It always works out. It always works out. Every single time I've been in a situation where I didn't see a way out and I didn't see a light at the end of the tunnel, it always works out. And that's God, man. And that's because I really do have faith in God, and I believe that He ain't gonna give you nothing that you can't handle. And if you are put in a hard situation or a tough time, it's only temporary. And it will pass. You know, like it says, this shall pass. This too shall pass. I don't want to get it wrong. See, I'm gonna have Martin on here talking about God tomorrow, and he's gonna get on here and be like, yeah, man, you butchering it. You butchering it. Magali, that's my baby boy. Yeah, we got Kobe. We got Kobe together. Kobe's about to be 5. Kobe's about to be 5 in October. So he's an 80. He's an 80 pounder. He's big. And he thinks that he can just do stuff that normal little dogs can do. And I be having to remind you sometimes, like, bro, you're huge. Come on now. Bethany, great podcast this morning. Have a wonderful day, everyone. You too, Bethany. Have a good day. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. Love having you guys on, interacting with me, talking with me, even if it is Curtis talking about his glizzy experience on the West Side. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you go over to the YouTube channel and subscribe to the Morning Brew podcast. This will also live stream to that YouTube channel. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you share, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. It helps with the algorithm, helps get it out there to people. And until next time, I will see you on the Morning Brew.